check. Okay, let's see. The beat working? Okay, I think we're all good. All right, so I am almost done with the EQ. I just need to kind of clean some stuff up and test it, make sure there's nothing too weird going on. And I'm gonna have to test it on Windows because that's always the real issue. Don't really have any issues on Mac. Let me show you what it looks like. So by default, it pops up with the graphic EQ, the 10-band graphic EQ, and you can switch it to the parametric one, which is 4 bands with gain and frequency, and then the tube EQ. So you got your low boost and low cut, high boost, high cut, the frequencies and the bandwidth. You got a high pass and low pass, a drive and a trim, which is shared between all of them. So this is kind of like on the global, on the editor, and then all of these are individual components. Also, you can flip the phase. I've got oversampling, and you can do stereo mid or sides, which is cool. Hello, Zoe. And yeah, so a couple things I'll do. Let me show you the architecture of this. So on the left side, the audio processor, I made 3 components on the graphic EQ, the parametric, and the two. So those are the SP filter. And if we go into the image, just say SP class. Like for example, the graphic EQ has 10 filters. So it has 10 SP filters. So I hit the oversample version. So we upsample the audio block. We call it a graphic EQ. The trim. And the just made a couple of parameters for each one. For example, the graphic is right. That's gonna call all of the set methods. So like tree set something. And so I like that for the graphic. I do the parametric too. Kind of a global one. So this is stuff that's not in these classes, so like sampling the phase, the two firsts, the trim, and then all just being called in the plugin processor for parameter changed. Yep, parameter changed right here. And then we're also doing the oversampling logic if the oversampling button gets toggled. So pretty simple there too. I found that doing this real simple updating of parameters makes everything, you know, initialize correctly and everything works as you would expect. Because in prepare to play, you also call, you know, update common parameters, update graphic, parametric, tube, stuff like that. So that all works. Yeah, so that's the audio side, and then kind of a similar setup on the GUI side. I have a tube component, a parametric component, a graphic component. I also have a window component. That's like the main global window. So let me close the DSP one. And so here's the graphic component. You know, we've got 10 sliders with labels and their attachments. And this is one of the things I kind of want to clean up, just because, you know, there's nothing wrong with this. Like, you know, it's 10 faders and 10 labels, 10 attachments. It's not that big a deal, but you know, if there were 1,000, this file would get huge. So I'm thinking about moving all of this stuff into like a for loop, just so that it cleans up well on this side, because on this side in the constructor, we're just doing a bunch of stuff. So a lot of this stuff is repeated, so we can just loop through it. And I'm setting my fader attachments to null pointer on the destructor so that we don't leak any memory, which is nice. All the set bounds, very linear, very clean, very organized. I think it works out pretty well. Same thing for the tube EQ. And the parametric. So yeah, we could probably use a for loop to clean up a lot of this code. Maybe not the attachments. I think I've tried that before. I think it kind of doesn't like it, but everything else can definitely be just looped through. And then set bounds could also be looped through, probably. Oh, there was one weird thing I think I want to show you. Oh wait, no, I think I ended up realizing that it wasn't an issue now. So check this out. So the way we're switching these components, so like the graphic EQ is right here, right? And it's drawn with this rectangle. And the parametric and tube EQ are also right here, but when we switch the buttons, you know, they are enabled true or false depending on which button. So right now they're all right here, but they're only being drawn whenever their button is selected. So basically in resize, they all have the same set bounds area. And what happened was, this works fine before the audio processor was passed to them, and is being passed to them so that I could use the attachments, right? So when I was working through them, none of them had the audio processor passed to it, and then I passed it to the graphic EQ, and it hit some kind of assertion saying that they were drawn in the same place, like two components were drawn in the same place. And I was kind of like, so? And what happened was I ended up putting an if check in resize. So like if the graphic button was on, you know, do set bounds, and then the same thing for parametric and tube. But then what I found was when I passed the audio processor to all three of them, now all three of them had the audio processor, and I didn't need that if check anymore. They can be drawn on top of each other, which is very strange. I've never noticed that before. It's never happened before. Very unexpected. So that was weird, but it ended up being okay. So yeah, set bounds is pretty self-explanatory. The constructor, we're putting the high pass fader here, low pass drive, trim. The buttons and the on-click method for each button. So each button sets the component visible and enabled depending on its state. And then we are adding the graphic EQ, parametric EQ, and the tube EQ. And then we got to make sure that when the plugin pops up, that the right component is drawn, because the button isn't going to be clicked at startup, but its state is going to be something. So we need to just set it to what it needs to be based on that state. So yeah, I think it's a really good architecture and a really good kind of organization. I think it works out pretty well. So yeah, do I even really want to go ahead and do this, like combining all this stuff into a for loop? I mean, it's not really necessary. It is kind of a lot to look at, but I mean, it's very like straightforward and easy to read. We're adding our band 1 fader, then the label, and the label, you know, properties, stuff like that. So I'd have to make a couple of vectors. I'd have to make a vector for the faders, a vector for the labels, and then a vector for the text of the labels. Okay, let's just do it for the graphic EQ and see how we feel about it after. So the trick to doing this is we're gonna say std vector. It's gonna be of type my fader, because that's what's gonna be in it. And then we have to make them pointers. So I'll call this faders, and so we say equals, and then we can do an initializer list. And since these are raw pointers, we actually give them the address of the fader that we're doing. So band 1, okay. So we gotta do 10 of these. And no comma for the last one. Okay, and then we can do the same thing for the labels. Okay. So label. We'll call it labels. And what are the labels called again? So, okay, the same thing, but with the word label at the end. So we could just do this. This should work. Perfect. And then we're gonna need one for the text for the labels. Oh, I should mention, I figured out that it was actually easier to take labels out of my fader class and actually just use faders, because when they were in the fader class, it wasn't easy to get the fader font to resize. I kind of forgot why now, but I found that it was much easier just to go ahead and make a label and attach it to all of the faders, and then in resize call, you know, set font, and then set the font size to, you know, the width of the fader times something. And let me just show you, it resizes pretty nice. I'm gonna have to check this on my laptop before I, you know, like finalize it, because the smaller it gets, the weirder it looks. Like it looks okay at the smallest size on my desktop, but I'm gonna have to just make sure on the laptop that it still looks good. So we can see the titles and the text. So if we go down, so all of the font resizes, it looks pretty good still. I also fixed the circles, like the little dots, and the track is now closer to the dial and now resizes a little bit better. So even if somebody opens this on a small laptop and then makes it really small, it should look, you know, decent. If we make it bigger, the text gets bigger and everything pretty much resizes the way you would expect. So yeah, it's pretty good. There is one weird little bug that I just cannot figure out. It's so strange. This fader, did you see that? All these other faders, right when the mouse gets over them, it hovers and it highlights them, right? This one, sometimes, look, it's not gonna let me select it. I have to kind of bounce around until it comes up. And you can watch that. See, right now it's not letting me select it, and I have to kind of bounce around to grab it. I don't know what's going on. It's not the button. I took the buttons out to see, and it wasn't the buttons. This fader isn't overlapping on it. I drew some rectangles around each fader, and this component is not overlapping. Like, the component stops like right here. I just can't for the life of me figure out what it is, and it's not that big a deal, but I mean, somebody's gonna complain, I already know, but you know, whatever. Yeah, it's pretty weird. And then let me see if I go small. Yeah, it does the same thing whether it's small or large. Yeah, I don't know, it's weird. Never really noticed that before. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do this. So we've got our faders, our labels. This indent is driving me crazy. Okay. And so we're gonna do another one, and this is gonna be the text for the labels. So this is gonna be, I guess, let's just do a juice string. And then we can just say label texts. And text, okay. So this is gonna be, wait, can I just do it like this? I don't really remember. Okay, does that build? Maybe not a pointer? Okay, it looks like that's gonna work. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna put a couple of comments right here. See, I get hung up on stuff like this. I want to make this capital letters. Okay. And then I'll just... Well. Okay. Cool, so that's a little more... So the comments aren't like that I can't figure out what this stuff is without the comments. It's just that it kind of like leads your eye so that you don't have to, like, it just kind of speeds up understanding what's going on, because now I have like these blue landmarks to kind of look, and it's just a little easier. I don't agree with people who say that you shouldn't use a bunch of comments. Okay, so let's put the actual text. 31 and 63. Oh my god, I can't type. What's the other one? 8K? And then 15? Okay. Cool. So then what we'll do is, let's see. So we'll do, I guess, a range-based for loop. Auto fader in faders. And what we could do, add and make visible. I guess we could just do fader, right? Okay, so let's take out these add and make visibles. Oh wait, was that the, yeah, okay. Add and make visibles for the faders and make sure that works by itself, and then we'll apply the same logic to the labels and text. Okay. Okay. So now we'll do the same thing for, oh, you know what? Okay, so I think a range-based for loop messes me up for something. Okay, so I'm gonna do a regular for loop because I want the index and I don't want to have to like make a variable and keep track. I'll just make it int. I know it's only like 10 things. Int I equals 0. Cool. So we'll do this. That in here, and what we'll do is we'll say labels I, and then we'll say labels I, and then I think we use the arrow, yep, because they're pointers. So now we're looping through every label and we're calling these methods, and then for the text we're gonna have to use label text, and then the same one, the same index, and that should line up. So let's get rid of all of this. I'd like to be able to do this for the attachments, but I remember a while back I tried and I just couldn't get it to work, and it doesn't really seem reasonable to waste too much time on it. So look at that, look how much our constructor cleans up. Let's see if it works. Oh, so I messed up attached component. So we're gonna do faders I. Is that good enough? Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay, that looks right. Now I kind of feel like I need to make the text a little bigger for the numbers. I mean, honestly, the text could probably be the same font size as the labels. Let's do that real quick. So that is in my style sheet. So style sheet, and we'll go, let's see. This is the bar, like the meter. So draw label. This is the dial, isn't it? Yep, that's the dial. I need the other linear slider. This one. Okay. Where is the font? Somewhere around these parts. Oh, the label is what I need right here. Okay, let's do 2. Yes. And it seems okay. Yeah, it seems okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's better. Cool. Okay, so let's close that up. We're probably gonna have to do the same thing for the dials. So cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, so that seems to work. So what we're gonna want to do, we could do it for the, yeah, we could do it for the set bounds also. So let's see here. Okay, so now we're gonna loop through the first 4 and then the second 4. Okay, so I'm just gonna be lazy and grab this for loop here. Oh wait, I forgot, I put a for loop thing in my Stream Deck. 4, there we go. Check that out. Okay, so less than 6. Because we're going to want to loop through the first 5. Okay. So we'll say faders, I, set bounds, yes, of course. Okay, so we're going to check to see if we're on the first one. And if we are, we're going to do this. And then else. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So left margin. Top margin. Oh. Fader width. Fader height. Okay. And let's see. Then we'll do labels I, set bounds, faders I get with. Okay. Oh, that should be good. Okay, Zoe, can you just pick a spot? Just sit there. Just sit there. Nope. Okay. 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 So that's the first one, and the other ones can follow this kind of logic right here. Let's see. So we're going to take this, paste it in here, and we'll say this. But what we'll do is we'll have to say this right here. the one before it, so I minus 1, so that we get the one before it. Take the dot out, and then we do the same thing right here. And then labels, set font, faders, I get width. That should all be fine. Okay. And then we do it again. Except I is gonna be 6 less than 11, right? 6. Oh wait, hold, this is gonna mess me up. Yeah, this is going to be one of the situations where this actually might be a little bit more confusing than just doing it the direct way. Because I'm going to say yeah, honestly, I think it might be more confusing. So I'm going to leave this out of resize since it doesn't really work for us. So whatever, that's fine. Okay. Okay, so on the destructor, let's say for equal to null pointer, I think that works. And we'll say we also need to do faders dot clear and faders dot shrink to fit, and that should clean up the memory of the vectors and the pointers and stuff. So we'll do the same thing for labels. And we'll say, yep, shrink to fit labels. And then since the label texts aren't pointers, I think we'll just say label text dot clear and shrink to fit. And yeah, so let's build that in logic and close the GUI and make sure that we don't get any assertions. Okay, I'm gonna make a new instance just to make sure. Okay, here's the multi-queue, pops up fine. This text is a little squished, but you know, whatever. So close it. Okay, seems fine. Yeah. Just because we don't get insertion doesn't necessarily mean we don't have a memory leak, because there's all kinds of ways to leak memory that Juice couldn't possibly, create an assertion for every single one. But it is good that we're not getting any assertions. So yeah, I guess we could just kind of move on and do the same thing for the parametric. Now this file is smaller and way more manageable. This one still, it's not big, it's fine. So here we go, 2BQ, okay. So let's see, can I do a little copy paste? So, yep. Go down here, container for dials. So these are dials. Let's see. Cool. That's the dials. We can get the labels and the text. Yeah, okay, so cool. Okay, so label text. Flow boost. And again, I used to have in my faders and dials a label already in there, so this was setting that text. But I found that it's easier to resize the label if you just create one independent of the slider. Fourth one. Very cool. There we go. Okay. And if we go into here, probably actually easier if I don't use a range-based for loop. In fact, now I think I want to go back and get the other ones. So the dials.size, add and make visible dials, and then we're also gonna do this. Labels I. Okay. Attach it to the current dial, and then we need the label text. .I, and that should take care of everything. Yeah, now I want to go back to the graphic EQ and take that range-based for loop out of there. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. That seems right. Oh yeah, no ampersand. So I'm actually going to take this back into the graphic EQ. Yeah, there's no point in, actually, let me do this. Faders dot size, and then faders I should take care of it. That should be good. Now, yeah, I think it's also easier if I just leave the set size the way it is, or the resized. Let me grab the logic for this. So this is dials. Okay, that should work. Dials. Shrink to fit. Okay, can open that with logic, make sure I don't get any assertions or anything. Okay, let's reinstantiate it. Out loud. Low boost, low cut, high boost, high cut. Yep, that all looks correct. And nothing happens when I close it. Okay. Seems like we're good. I'm gonna save it like that so I have to keep doing that. Let me put my comments in here. Oh. Cool. And parametric is last. So here we go. These are dials? Yeah, they're dials. Okay. There's actually 8, right? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then the label's the same thing, just with the word label. Missing 8%. That should be good. And this is gonna be high, mid. Very cool. Attachment pants. And then I can pretty much the same thing as this. It's still going to be called dials. Yeah, that should be correct. Okay, that should be good. And we'll take the logic from here, put that in there. That should all be the same, right? Dials, dial, label, yep. And then that stuff is fine. I'm not gonna do anything with that. That's pretty easy to read what's going on. We're taking every dial, we're calling add and make visible. Taking every label and calling add and make visible. We're also doing all of the label things we need to do, like set text to the text that we want to use, the attached to a component, which is the dial, and then set the justification type. And then we're just adding all of our attachments, cleaning up the memory. And I think we are all good. I don't really need to do that in the window. No, because there's only a couple of things in the window. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. Not too much in the editor either. I mean, we could do it with these faders. UI constructor. Oh yeah, I guess we should, because there is kind of like a lot right here. Okay, so all right, so these are faders and labels, so I'm going to take the graphic one here, and let's go into the plugin editor. We'll go under the attachments just like we did for the components, and let's see, fader, low pass fader, drive fader, trim fader, and the labels. And the texts, which are just high pass, low pass. Oh, that scared me. Thanks, sound effects guy. That was way too loud on my end. Drive and trim. And that's all we need for labels. And we could take the same logic from the graphic EQ component. We'll go into the editor, no, into UI constructor. Okay, so right here, just do that, take that out, and then make sure I am erasing the right stuff. Low pass, drive, trim. Okay. Okay, so that cleans it up a bit. I'm not gonna worry about it for the choice buttons. because I have the on-click method, which is different for each one, and the attachments anyway, so this is fine. We're gonna leave that the way it is. I'm gonna take this. Okay, I'm gonna take this, and that should just work the same way, right? In the destructor. Oh, I also in the destructor need to get rid of the attachments. So, oh, all of these. Okay. And this is gonna bother me if I don't do this. So the vector stuff, then the attachments. Vector stuff, then attachments. So vector stuff, then attachments. And then here as well. Okay. And that is all good to go. Okay. Let's make sure everything looks good whenever we open it. Hey, how's it going, man? So I guess you do sound effects? Let's make sure nothing weird happens in logic. A game audio, that's awesome. Making plugins inside Unreal Engine, but never coded them for oh. So like as a Unreal, like as a like blueprint or something? Oh yeah, cool. Is there like a DSP framework for that? Gonna check the audio, make sure attachments work. Sounds weird. 5, they introduced a thing called meta sounds. Oh, cool. So it's kind of like Max MSP, visual scripting stuff. That sounded weird. I'm gonna, do I have my original one? Yeah, the LV60 should see if it sounds the same. Pretty much the same, right? Oh, cool. I love Max MSP because it's so once you figure it out, it's really easy and it's just so fast. Just to, like I test DSP in Max before I implement it in code for Juice. And Max has the gen object, which lets you use a code box object, so you can even code stuff if you want, and that's really it can be pretty handy. I use it to like prototype like math and DSP effects and stuff. So I love Max. I imagine that makes doing game audio so much cooler and so much better because you don't have to just use, wave files that you're just triggering. Okay. Okay, so it sounds similar. Okay, so hopefully that's not an issue. So if I go and I pull up the vintage graphic EQ, does it do the same thing? Yeah, I used Wise like twice. I did a couple of game jams in college, and it was pretty I wouldn't want to, use that full time. Okay, so this is weird. Okay, so something weird is going on. Because this is kind of what I expected it to sound like. Mine has some kind of weird, something weird going on. Awesome. Thanks a lot. I was doing more tutorial based stuff, but I kind of already ran out of stuff, so now I'm gonna stream like my own work for a while until I come up with more tutorial based stuff that'll be useful. I mean, honestly, if different people watch me every time, I could probably end up just keep doing the same thing over and over again. But watching me make a project is probably helpful too. So here's the question: Why is this happening? Let's try. I'm gonna make the signal mono before going into the plugin, so that I think the plugin will do mono on its own. So mono on, multi-Q. Okay. Something weird is going on. I'm gonna save it like that. Let me look in Plugin Doctor, see what's going on. Multi-Q. Okay, so I mean, that's exactly what I expect it to look like. But is like the phase really bad? I guess that could be why. Because that is a pretty weird phase shape. That's although that's kind of what I expect it to look like. I'm gonna have to check it in Logic because I'm gonna check it with the analyzer by I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. Shout out to Bertum. Bertom, I'm not sure exactly. So what I'm gonna do is put that on so that let's see, where is it? Bertom, that. You gotta give it that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna turn logics on. And turn the music off. Okay. Wait, do I need to actually play? No, okay. Okay, so logic's phase, graphic EQ phase is really good. I mean, it's not linear, but it's almost linear at this point, and then it kind of gets a little more hanky. But this is, I mean, this is really good. But mine, let's see here. Yeah, that's not good. That's not what you want to see, bud. I wonder if it's just because I bet, you know what? I bet it's because I'm doing. Yeah, I think it's because I'm doing the sample-based process method. Let me just close this and show you what I mean. Okay, so in my filter, let's go into the DSP, the filter. I'm doing process sample, which is just processing each individual sample, which means that I'm using the same filter for each side, which is probably not. Well, I probably want to pass an audio block. And well, I mean, actually, we can actually just see before we waste time doing any code. I'm gonna go into here. Oh, very cool. That's what I like to hear. Let me close these, get out the way. So I have this. This is mono. Okay, so I'm gonna bounce it so that it's a mono audio file, and I'm gonna make a mono audio track. Yep, mono. Why does that still say stereo? Okay, hold up. Oh, I also need to do that. So let's see, can I bounce it to a specific track? Yeah, selected track. Okay, is that mono? Nope, that is stereo. I don't get it. Let's see. Okay, that's definitely mono. So let's pull up the cue. Yeah, it's mono because now it pulled up the mono version of this plugin. Ah, okay. Okay, so all right. So let me do it with logic attached, and then this will probably be a good learning experience for me, because then I'll be able to fix a problem that probably exists in all of my plugins, unless this is just because I'm doing the sample-based filtering. So let's just see. Multi-cue. Too bad I didn't save that mono track. So I could probably just create the mono track and get the same result. So just make another track, make it mono. Let me save right here. And I'm gonna pull up the mono version of my plugin, and then it should. Okay, well, guess I gotta play some audio. Okay, let's see, where's it gonna take me? Get channel pointers. Returns a raw pointer into one of the channels and it's block. Okay, so here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I remember I remember doing this and being like, I'm gonna need to do an if check. Right here. Okay, so if let's see, what do I need? How do I get the nums channels? I guess I'll just say in block. If in block get num. Come on. Come on, Xcode. Just autocomplete for me. Watch, it's gonna be like no completions. Yeah. Okay, so in block get num channels is more than one. We will do this, and we also need to do that for the out block. And then I'm gonna have to do the same thing for the actual in fact, you know what? I'm gonna, instead of doing, I'm gonna make it equal to 2. Yeah, and then we're gonna say if inblock get num channels is equal to 2. We'll do this whole thing right here. Right there. Else, what do we do? Oh wait, actually, move this down. I'm gonna move this down into the sample loop right here. So that needs to be there. And then that will actually go there, right? There's the if. Okay. And then I guess just this. Is that gonna build? Because it looked like it didn't want to give me oh, right input data. Do you mean left input data? Right input data. Well, I guess I could. I guess I could put that here. And then I guess I could do the same thing for the output data. Yeah, that's probably better. Do it like that. Okay, does that build? That's not gonna fix the. I don't think that's gonna fix the weird sound. But I guess it might. I don't know. We'll see. Looks like it's gonna build. If it does, I'll run it in Logic and see what happens. Okay, so let me also fix the indentation of all this. There's probably a better way to do this that I'm unaware of. I wonder if there's a Xcode key command for this. Okay. So let's see if that fixed that issue. Okie dokie. Let's see what happens here. I'm gonna get rid of this instance. Okay, let's run this bad boy in mono. Okay, so there's still some weird stuff going on. I think it's because even though it's in mono, is it like maybe, is it running twice or something? I mean, is there maybe, let's see, is there like a truly mono? Doesn't really tell you, does it? Maybe a voice or something? Guitar? No, maybe not acoustic. Let's do, I mean, vocals. I mean, I figure
5, 4.
Is that mono? Okay, that seems like it's truly mono.
5, 4.
But the
1 2 4
that might be better. That's higher quality sound. That's definitely gonna be stereo. That kind of sounded like it might have been mono. Nope, it's stereo. Okay, let me get this Arabic number thing. That is okay. This is a really good sounding vocal recording. So let me go ahead and just loop this. Or yeah, I'll just copy and paste it a bunch of times.
2 2
All right, let's see.
2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2
Yeah, so it shouldn't sound like that. It should just sound like the whole. Wait, no, not necessarily. No, that might be correct because if you think about it, the graphic EQ is making a bunch of cuts. So in essence, I mean, if I would set this up with the Logic's channel EQ, that should sound weird nasally, right? So let me get the Birdum thing back and look at what Logic's graphic EQ does, because maybe just our bandwidths are so different. Yeah. Let's see, what am I looking for? Birdum. And then we need another one. What? Oof. Okay. And then vintage graphic EQ. Where's the other? Right here. Okay. So I can kind of see Logic's already has a little bit of a bump even when nothing's on. So it's kind of like the. Okay, so yeah, so Logic's bandwidth is just huge. Yeah. So I wonder, maybe I should change mine. Yeah, I'm gonna change my bandwidth to be a little less crazy. So let me take a look at it, because I think my cuts are different than the boosts, right? So like if I take this cut, that's really narrow, and then that's pretty narrow. Okay, so the way I can do this is in the filter class here. Let's see, in the actual process method right here. Yeah, get peak. I'm gonna have to go edit that get peak. Okay, so get shelf, get peak here. Okay. So it's actually very simple. So I'm just doing, okay. And this is a great thing to use max for. So I mean, I have to make the number bigger, right? Wow, max take forever to open. This right here, that's all I need. So this is saying that times 0.2. Okay, so that's gonna give me the Q value. So at 0, Q is 0.2, which is pretty wide. And then at 12, it's 0.8, which is pretty narrow. And if I make this like 0.4, oh, it makes it worse. So I need to do what does 0.5 do? Because 0.5 is the widest that my filter can do. Okay, so it only makes it 0.2. Okay. About 1. So that's really wide. And then 12 is 0.4, which isn't very wide. Okay. So let's try it. 0.1. Go ahead and build it. But then the thing is, now that I don't think it's a phase issue, so I think it's just that. I think it's just the bandwidth. So it might be good to leave it the way it is, because my idea with it was to be able to use it for getting rid of resonances, but that might not be the case because you can't adjust the cutoff of the graphic EQ. So what's the point of being able to get it really narrow? So let's see what it looks like now. It's still kind of narrow, but that's pretty wide. Still pretty narrow, but there we go. Yeah, that should be more like, yep. That should be good. Oh, that's interesting. That's pretty cool. All right, let's go check that out. All right, that's the mono drum track. So let's pull out the multi-cue. Yep, that's more in line with what Logic's graphic EQ does. Perfect. And then let's see if it sounds the same in stereo. Oh, I probably shouldn't have got rid of that. I kind of wanted to see what Logic's phase response was. Yep, still works good. Okay, perfect. So that little addition to the filter class made a huge difference. I think that's more realistic. Okay, doesn't seem like we're having any crazy phase issues, but let me pull out the curve analyzer again. Get the vintage EQ curve analyzer. Let's check it out. So here we go. Here's linear, show phase. Phase looks pretty interesting. Okay. So let's pull up mine and see if it's anywhere close to that. Show phase linear, okay. Ah, it's very different somehow. Not bad though. Pretty much what I would expect. So yeah, we're not getting a full phase rotation out of anything, I don't think. Right? Because it hovers around this middle area and it never actually goes all the way to negative or positive pi. So I think that's okay and kind of in line with what other EQs look like. The Logic's looks like it's basically linear phase. But if I were to pull up another one, like maybe the SSL one, so have it, channel strip, yeah. Okay, let me just use this filter right here. Yeah, it's pretty much what I would expect. And this one may be like this or something. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same. Okay. Well, I guess it's okay. So let's check out the other filter settings. Okay, so, I mean, the high pass and low pass is going to be typical. The phase response is pretty universal. Drive doesn't do anything. That makes sense because I'm not splitting the bands or anything. Okay, so parametric, let's check this out. Pretty similar to the SSL. Okay. Yeah, pretty much the same as the SSL, so it's good. Okay, I think now filters are okay. And then that should do that. Yep. And that should do that. Yep. Okay. Seems pretty decent. Yeah, I guess I don't see that on the graph. Okay. So the other thing I'm thinking about is I want to make the low boost and the in the parametric. I want to make the low gain and the high gain shelves. I don't think they're shelves right now. Oh, they are shelves. Good. Okay. Cool. So one thing though is if I set the Q to parametric, does that stop this little bump? I don't remember. Let me just look at what's going on in there. So the parametric one, filter one should be the shelf. Yeah, shelf. Okay, let me try setting the Q to the other Q type. And then I'll do Q type, and then I'll do parametric. Yeah. I'll do that for the top one also. See if that makes a difference. Not really, but I mean, that's okay. Whatever. What does the distortion look like on the oscilloscope? Good. Okay, it looks kind of like a tube distortion. Very cool. Okay. All right. Cool. I mean, I think it's pretty solid, pretty stable. I guess I'm gonna want to make sure that everything saves correctly. So let's just go ahead and open it and change some parameters and make sure that it saves and recalls correctly. And while I'm at it, I better do it with it attached to logic just to make sure in case I hit an assertion or something. Oh, it's almost 7:30. Hey, Zoe. Yeah, come sit. Sit still. Oh, your nails are so sharp. All right, that is the mono one. Okay, so let's get this stereo one right here and get rid of all that. All right. Well, we know that saved correctly. Now let's do mid. Yeah. Sides. That seems right. Seems right. Sound like it's in mono. Yep. Seems to be working. All right. All right. Let's do the parametric. I guess let's do the same thing. She's gonna try to buy my glasses off of my Everything seems to be working. The phase on the sampling calls correctly. I think we all good now. But it still works if these aren't engaged, right? Cool. Okay. Well, that's good enough for me. I guess the next step is I just want to see what the CPU usage is like. It's not going to be incredible, but it shouldn't be terrible. So I'm going to go and make sure that we got the right one. So I'm going to go into Viator EQ, builds, build. There's a release build. Oh, but it's empty, okay? So I'm going to get rid of this one. Get rid of that. And let's go ahead and see, set scheme to release build and make sure I put it on the AU AnyMac. And I'll build that real quick. Release builds always take much longer to build in the debug because the release build is gonna remove all of the debug capabilities, like, you know, writing to the console, stuff like that. It's gonna optimize all the code to whatever it's set to. So I have it set to the, you know, default high optimization, whatever. And we will see how it performs because I have I would like to also fix those warnings. That would be good too. So each filter turns off whenever the whenever the gain is at 0. So that's going to help out a lot. So if you have every filter engaged, you're going to be at the most CPU usage. And if you have none of the filters engaged, you should have no CPU usage for the filters, and the drive also turns off at 0. So if the plugin doesn't have anything engaged, it should have a very low CPU footprint. It's still going to be a little bit because, you know, it's me. Like the Logic plugins, if they're not doing anything, they literally have like almost 0% usage. But we'll see. My oversampling is only 2 times because whenever I was testing oversampling, I tried 2 times, 4 times, 8 times, and 16 times. And the difference that 2 times made was astronomical, and then the difference after that was very negligible. So I don't see the point of having the extra CPU usage for you know, some stuff that's almost inaudible. And the only non-linear process that's going on is the drive, I would think. So okay, build successful. Let's check it out. Let's pull up the CPU meter. Let's pull up multi-queue. Here it is in its release glory. And what? Are you serious? Wait a minute. What? Okay. Well, I've never seen that before. Does it have something to do with the, no, these are all based on the block, in block, out block. That's super strange. Oh man, that is weird. Now that it's a release build, I mean, is it, what if I go back to Rosetta? Bro. uh okay. Is it really the debug release difference? I mean, I have no idea what could be causing that. Oh man, what happened? Okay, clean build folder. I'm also gonna reset the plugin cache. Audio unit cache. Okay. I'm gonna open up Logic and let it rescan the plugins, and I'm gonna go feed the cats while that's happening. I'll be back. Oh, my Stream Deck's not letting me click stuff. Oh, it's not. I guess Logic is hogging the focus. All right, I'm gonna go feed the cats. Wait, why does it say multi-queue successfully validated? Ah, there's one in this folder. That could have been the problem, I guess. Okay, redo the unit, audio unit cache. Do it again. Okay. It says I can't find it. Okay. Good. I don't know why it still like knows about it. Okay, so let's close that. And right now this is AU AnyMac scheme release. So I'm gonna clean the build folder and build from scratch and see if that fixes it. I guess it's gonna take a while. Almost there. Okay. I don't know if Logic's gonna be able to open it a cold open like this. Okay. Successfully validated. Oh, thank goodness. Oof. I guess it got confused between the couple of components that were there. Let's check out the CPU usage now. Yeah, there's like a little bit, even though like nothing's happening, which, you know, is unfortunate, but so let's turn on the graphic. Turn these filters on. Okay. So let me put like 10 of them in a row. Ooh. Yeah. Can't handle 10 of them. I guess it could be, I am running Streamlabs. Oh, I'm already at 1024, okay. It seems like Logic is, it seems like it's only using the first 2 cores. Well, anyway, I'm gonna do some more testing. But yeah, thanks for watching. Sound Effects Guy, I'm glad you followed. Join our Discord. It's in the bio. Check it out. I will be back Thursday, same time. I will mess around with this. I think I might mess around with the SIMD stuff again to see if I can get some more performance. But yeah, thanks for watching. I will be back Thursday, and yeah, I'll see you then. Thanks.